In 2021, a man in Willows, California, finished a cigarette and tossed the butt on the ground. He had no idea that he had just handed the police the final piece of the puzzle that had been missing for 44 years. In 1982, 13-year-old Sarah Geer walked towards an arcade in Cloverdale and vanished into the shadows of an alleyway. For 4 decades, her killer lived a normal life, thinking he'd gotten away with the unthinkable. But he didn't count on 2 things: a persistent detective and his own DNA left on a filter. Before we continue, please consider liking and subscribing for more content like this. Sarah was a tall, beautiful, vivacious 7th grader at Washington Junior High School. It was Sunday, and she wanted to have some fun with a few friends before the weekend ended. In the 1980s, arcades were a very popular hangout for teenagers. Sarah and her friends were no exception. The excitement of being around all their school friends and neon lights made it the go-to spot for her and her friends. But by morning, the lives of everyone who loved her would forever be changed. 2 young girls and a firefighter walking home from work found her body behind a fence near an apartment building. Her death was ruled a homicide. She had been dragged down an alley to a secluded area where she was assaulted and unalived. Due to the limited forensic science of the day, no suspect was identified and the case quickly went cold. Finally, a break in the case came in 2003, when investigators developed a DNA profile based on sperm collected from Sarah's undergarment. However, law enforcement databases didn't contain any matches. Sarah's assailant was not in the database. He managed to stay under the radar for decades. While he was out living his life, investigators dug deeper and started looking at his cousins. Then, in 2021, Cloverdale police reopened the investigation. They partnered with a private investigation firm in hopes to revisit the evidence with the latest in technological advancements. Investigators also enlisted the FBI to help identify a potential match to the 2003 profile. Using its access to familial genealogical databases, they concluded that the source of the DNA collected from Sarah belonged to one of 4 brothers, including James Unick. Surveillance was conducted on James, and when he unwittingly discarded a cigarette that he had been smoking, investigators quickly retrieved it. The DNA from the cigarette confirmed that James was indeed the contributor of the DNA left on Sarah in 1982. Police arrested Unick in July of 2024 at his home in Willows, California. Cloverdale Chief of Police Chris Parker said in a 2024 statement, "While nothing can undo the pain inflicted upon the Geer family and our community, we can finally offer some solace in knowing that the perpetrator will be held accountable." When Unick was arrested, he stated that he didn't know Sarah or remember the events of the night of her death. But during the trial, his story changed. He said the teenager propositioned him while he had been playing a video game at the arcade and claimed the two had been intimate on a hillside near a local river. He said Sarah must have been killed by someone else later that night. On February 13, 2026, which would have also been Sarah's 57th birthday, a jury found 66-year-old James Unick guilty with special circumstances. This will carry a life sentence without the possibility of parole. He is scheduled to be sentenced on April 23, 2026. James Unick spent 44 years breathing free air while Sarah Geer's family waited for an answer. He thought time had erased his footprints, but science has a very long memory.